was a dark and stormy night at Redwell Abbey. No one was stirring, except the mice and moles and hedgehogs, and I think there's a hare somewhere as well. Oh, and that otter.
Welcome to my podcast. I am your host, Abbott Pete, and
I'm
today
Jeremy.
we are talking the book they've built up for so long, Doomwyte.
I'm Katie, and I will get you and your little dibbin too.
Brains.
And Matthias over there trying to eat someone. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna drop that gag, obviously, folks. Yes, we are back to the books after 2 food episodes that were slightly delayed, but totally not my fault. It's completely my fault. And we are going to the book that my fellow contributors here, as I said, have built up since we got started, Doomwyte. So, this is book 20. This came out in year 2008, and is it going to live up to the reputation they built it up? I'll find out. But so, spoiler alert, parents, if you are listening to this with your Dibbins, we're going to try to make this as Dibbin friendly as we can, but we are going to describe some of the deaths, which are frankly horrifying.
A little bit.
There's disclaimers out of the way. So.
Yep.
Okay.
There's always been death in this series, clearly. We all know what happened to Rose. We all know what happened to many characters, but there's some new things in this one. And
when drowning is the least terrible way to die. Yeah.
Right.
Literally a character gets boiled alive.
Yeah, that's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also want to have a wag at my finger at the spell check built into Google Docs. We'll get to the character when I talk. We'll get to our token hare for the book, but man, it did not like his name.
Oh.
What did he keep trying to change it to?
Instead of Boise, I presume.
Yeah.
Boise, like the city.
Well,
I mean, that would be funny, but people from Boise don't typically talk with a, Highland Scottish brogue.
A very strong one, too.
This is maybe the first hare who does not say what.
I didn't notice that. I was having so much trouble reading every other bit of his dialogue, I forgot about that.
We'll talk about when we get to him. So, we begin our book with a prologue, because of course we do. And, Willy Wonka might have a very weak case here, because the last sentence we get is a teller of tales and the weaver of dreams. So,
didn't we get the teller of tales segment in another book too?
Yeah. Which one was it? I don't remember.
Okay. I do like it. I just was like, oh, that sounds familiar.
Yep.
Maybe it was Hyrule Lane. Or no, wait, that one actually, I think that one might have had an actual opening.
Was it Loam Hedge?
I was thinking it was Loam Hedge, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't Triss or Rekitam, not Hyrule Lane. Yeah, so probably Loam Hedge.
Okay.
So most of as all the prologues tend to do, this is someone telling you a story, but it's not as normal tradition is some older creature telling Dibbins a story. So it's just a straight up narration.
Because this is the type of story I'd want to tell to small children.
Yes.
Good night, kids.
Sweet dreams.
Also, I would like to point out, much like the last book, we don't have a table of contents for each of the books. At least in my paperback copy, there's no, book 1 is on page X, book 2 is on page Y, etc.
Oh, well, I'm doing the Kindle edition, and literally our table of contents in those is clickable links. So,
in the actual printed book, it just like the last one, it's missing again. So
yeah, not in the hardcover either.
Publisher's getting lazy. Anyway, book one is The Raven.
Yep.
Nevermore.
I was going to say, I thought I was going to read this book, Nevermore.
Maybe the book's about your lost love, Lenore?
And
No.
there's Poe spitting in his grave. Or he was a zombie that bit Matthias. So it begins with the raven, and it is our little picture of a raven. And we have a quick quip here. They danced and twinkled in the woodlands at night, those little lights. So
Yes.
our story begins at Redwall, briefly, but it does not follow a hero character at all. It follows a magpie. And my initial thing when I was doing my OCD breakdowns of these things was, oh, it must be a hero character. No, it's not.
Magpies are never heroes. They're
So
too busy chasing the strawberry trees.
Yep.
Yes.
So this magpie is Griv, and she lands on a windowsill where Dibbins are being told a story by a slightly older Dibbin.
Yes.
Bisky.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go with the names.
You know what? I wrote specifically in my notes, Bisky. Actually, this one's not bad. I am fine with Bisky.
Oh, I misspelled it in my notes.
There were plenty. Immediately, then we are hit by Frintle, Dwink, and Pieswoggle. All right,
Yeah.
Pieswoggle is just my new favorite Redwall word, but I actually kind of want a character to be named that now.
Yeah, pie swoggle is like the perfect Jakesism. It's like, what a load of old pie swoggle.
Yep.
So, well, I'm sure that's where the parents came up with the name somehow. So we are right here in the first chapter. We have this older Dibbin, Bisky, telling younger Dibbins a story, but we have a lore mention, and a pretty significant one since I don't know when. We're outright told there's a great Doomwyte idol, a statue with big four eyes. Well, not for long. That are precious stones. That why Goth, the prince of mouse thieves, stole them.
And
Yes.
after he took them, he had to outrun this giant boulder. And oh, wait a minute.
I would watch that.
The gems belong in a museum.
Adders. Why did it have to be adders?
I hate adders. So, of course, we're told that Goth brought according to the story, Goth stole these gemstones from a big old statue and brought them right here to Redwall Abbey instead of St. Ninian's. Where
Yes.
you know what? We're not going to be in that flexible continuity between.
No, Gonf was genre savvy and was like, I have a feeling that villains will constantly use St. Ninians for their hideout. I will not hide my jewels here.
So, that being said, they start this story, and then immediately it breaks straight into a pillow fight, and that's cute.
As most stories tend to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we have the token Redwall weenie.
Brother Toralus.
Good lord. Sister Alcanet had a better sense of humor than this guy.
God,
Yeah.
my exact note is, I'm assuming Brother Toralus is just grumpy because his name is stupid.
Yeah, in a previous episode, I was trying to remember a particularly nasty infirmary keeper, and I think it was Brother Trillis who was just slowly creeping into my memory a little bit.
I thought it was too, but I didn't want to spoil, so I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
I
this
think it
dude
might
makes
have
sweat
been.
blankets look
Sorry.
like like party people in comparison. No chill whatsoever. Did he like surgically remove his sense of humor or something?
I
God.
mean, there's one thing to have a disciplinarian at the Abbey to keep the Dibmans in line. That's typically a Badger Mom's job, and given we're not going to have one in the remaining series we haven't covered, fine. But this guy is a weenie.
Like, even, I can't remember his name, but remember, like, the really stern squirrel in Salamandastron that, like, kind of yelled at Samkim?
Bremen,
Mhm.
yes.
Bremen. Like, even that guy is, like, Basil Staghair party time compared to this dude.
Even Roosevelt Regaba could at least admit when he was wrong.
Yeah. And
He
he
had
had
an arc.
redeeming features. Like,
Yes.
he knew how to beat up Marl foxes.
Which was entertaining, yes.
Yes.
So he's our chief infirmary officer, and apparently the infirmary is on the same level as the Dibbins dormitory. So he basically does the whole "go to bed."
He puts the firm in infirmary keeper.
Indeed. So, and he's also like, "Oh, and Bisky, for telling the story, encouraged the pillow fight. You're on report."
Like, oh.
Come on, man.
Wasn't it established in a previous book that Abbott's report doesn't actually exist?
It does here, apparently.
Apparently.
I've heard of it once before, I believe. I think it was in Triss when all the Dibbins locked themselves in the kitchen and made the tarts, and then they were on Abbott's report.
Mhm.
That being said, our story actually jumps to two random freestanding vermin. I don't even know that I can call them vermin. These guys are just pretty innocent in their own right. Now, I don't know what their life, but they're not harming anybody. They're just trying to get through Mossflower to the sea.
They are
Yeah,
legitimately lost.
I felt bad for these guys. I think Jake's was intending for them to be sort of expendable. Like, it's not as bad if I kill vermin, but I felt bad for these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, take whatever reference you want. Either they're dressed in red shirts or white stormtrooper armor.
I went more of these two are like the first victims in a slasher flick.
Pretty much, because I mean, they're allegedly friends, but you can tell they're kind of getting angry with each other because they're lost. And yeah, then the first thing out of ordinary shows up, and Matthias, it took me a while when they finally revealed what this was. I was just like, wait, what? This was not what I was expecting. I honestly thought what's described here was fireflies.
Doing with
But it's not.
Navi's evil cousin.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
Hey,
basically
listen!
Hey,
No.
drowning!
So these two are basically confronted with what looks like freestanding lights that are just floating there, and okay, and they basically like, oh, let's go see where they're leading us. Yeah, Navi kind of went to a dark place after Ocarina of Time, didn't she? Uh, so it looks like it's not much mostly like a pale glowing flame and like or maybe a candle's worth of light, but yeah, these two vermin follow it, and one of the two, the one who gives us our first song, Slag, he chases it right into the marsh section of Mossflower, and he drowns.
Yep.
They really got to put like a warning sign near that marsh. It has killed so many vermin in
No
so many
lifeguard
of
on
these
duty.
books.
I mean, maybe we should rename it from Mossflower to Wood to Marshflower Wood.
I know. I,
You know, I'm thinking like all the Dibbins who've gotten lost out in the woods before, they are so lucky that they did not come across any of this stuff.
They're too
Yeah.
lightweight. They don't sink.
Okay.
So Slag not only drowns, his buddy eventually does catch up with him. He doesn't fall into the swamp himself, but there's a worse fate for him later.
He gets
Uh,
kidnapped.
Yeah, well, you know the Redwall, the Redwall way of hospitality. Well, not Redwall. The general franchise way of hospitality is to beat you unconscious. Yes.
It's the Martin special.
Yeah, that's canon now. So
But before we get too much further, I have to point out, yeah, you were thinking it's like, what is this, Fireflies? When I read this, I realized, oh wait, because I've learned since the last time I read this book a whole lot more about folklore. These are will-o'-the-wisps.
Mm-hmm.
This is Brian's take on the will-o'-the-wisp, which, for those of you who are unfamiliar, were lights that people would find while they were traveling at night because, spoiler alert, no no electricity way back in the day, and walking through a forest with an open flame was probably not a good idea, so they probably had like a little candle and that was about it. So any other lights you saw, people would probably think, oh yeah, that's probably another person, and head over in that direction. And oh no, I just died in a swamp.
Yeah, so
It's either like a bioluminescence or a chemiluminescence created by certain chemicals in swamps that would be naturally produced due to the breakdown of those chemicals, and it would inadvertently lure carries people off of the path and into perilous places, swamps. And then superstition then obviously arose by people inventing mythology around the strange glowing lights they could not explain and attempted to attribute to malice what was really just natural glowing.
So that being said, Slag dies, and his buddy Gridge basically sees his head get sucked into the swamp while these lights are dancing around him. Those lights come for him, and as I said, the Martin Special. Cruel's claws sees Gridge ramming his head hard into the tree trunk. A net was thrown over him and secured tightly. And they're dragging him off to somewhere. We're told the quote, Doomwytes have got you now, Rat. And minor spoilers here, but the Doomwytes is kind of our collective group for the main vermin.
Yeah.
Here.
Also, just in general for this book, like in the last few books, we've had like really cool descriptions of like the lightning storms and just the villains. In this one, we literally just get, just to show how much creepier this book is. Sometimes the gale rose to a sound of that of a tortured beast, whilst often it subsided to a dirge-like moan.
Yep.
That's dark.
So, yeah, this book has a darker tone. I keep the jokes I've made in previous episodes about this possibly being Brian's Quentin Tarantino phase might be accurate. So, anyway, our chapter 2 begins with our brother Weenie going to wake up. Yeah, it's his name now. Going to wake up Father Abbott and say, "Hey, I'm gonna here's some good old drugs for you to cure your rheumatism."
Warm nettle broth. Oh wait, not quite.
Dear. And you know what's worse is that the chapter art shows Brother Shirtless leading our two troublemaking older Dippins for Abbott's report, and he looks so imperious as he marches along.
Okay,
like,
and we have all had this teacher or this adult in our lives who love the sound of their own voice, love the authority they can wield, and love dealing out punishments, and we all hated them.
I would like to say I'm surprised this guy's not standing up more straight, because it's kind of hard to arch your back when you have a stick shoved so far up your bottom.
Wow.
Thank you for keeping that PG. So,
in the last book, one of the Dimmons used the word bottom, and the other
Bottom.
Dimmons were like, "You said a naughty word!" So that's my new go-to now. Bottom.
So yeah, he's like, "Oh yeah, I found I have an Abbott report because we had some naughty Dibbins last night."
No, and the Abbott's like, "Oh, they're just Dibbins, leave them alone." And Torless is like, "No, you must punish them."
I am the law.
And I love Abbott Glissom. He's wonderful.
He's our
old.
first Dormouse Abbott, and he have we ever focused so much on how when you get old, it kind of sucks? Because this guy's old and a lot of things hurt, and it's like, oh, that's unfortunate.
They do describe him immediately as a fat, old, hairy-tailed dormouse.
Yes.
Yeah, he's old and proud of it, but young enough at heart to sympathize with the younger members of the Abbey population. It's just like, he's everybody's favorite old person.
Yes.
Yep, I do like him.
So yeah, they basically like, "Oh, you're gonna have to punish Bisky. I do so hate to sit in judgment of them. I'm sympathetic here, but and as much as the weenie is a weenie, he does have a point. You know, this is your job to keep everybody in line. So
you need to tell these children why it's not okay to act like children.
But they're kids.
Exactly.
Or such a weenie.
And then we also meet. Here's another new goofy name, Fire Skirple.
Yes, but I like him very much.
I don't have a problem with the characters outside
He's a-
Torless, but the names have gotten to the point. Like we have Skipper Rorgus.
Yes.
Have we reached the point where the names are just being spat out by a random machine that just organizes letters in random locations?
Sure, why not?
There's in Eulalia and Doomwyte and Sable Queen, Skipper's name is very similar. I think last time it was Rourke. This time it's Rorgus, and I think in Sable Queen it's something like Ruark or something. It's like, okay.
Really like the R names, I guess.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they're pirates. Of course they love R.
Oh boy. May I give some audiobook fun facts?
By all means.
So this is the first one I remember listening to as it came out. Also, a lot of the actors, well, I don't know if it's a lot, but definitely Ron De La Cruz, who's been in most of them, is missing. And he's usually the formal, one of the moles at least. So I kind of missed his voice. And also, all the actors were playing so many different people in the same scene. So I think this is would be very challenging. Like Paul Braithwaite plays Bosie, Terillis, and Skipper, and they're all in, and their voices are so distinct, and they're all in the same scene a lot. So I would think this would be just like, wait, who am I now? Hold on, pirate, Highland, or prim British guy? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I'm half okay on this name. For the mole, Gullub Gurpaw.
I like it.
I think Gurpaw is a decent name for a mole. Gullub just sounds like somebody choked on their drink when they were naming him. Like, what do you want to name your son? Gullub.
I like it. Oh, and there's a new actor named Kevin Brannigan, and he plays Bisky and Corksnout and Corvus Skur, I believe. Yes, but he's very good.
So, story continues, and yeah, Red Ball is having breakfast, and oh god, we're back to the food porn.
I want that. I want that.
I want all of it. I'll just take all of it. Yeah.
Take all that to go, please.
With the sugar and the honey, and or not, maybe not the sugar, but like the honey and the fruit and the like cream, and you just stir it all up. Anyway.
Okay, I'm putting that on your bill. Will that be cash, check, or card?
Send the bill to Salamandastron. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Gosh, that's what you want, a blood wrath like lady badger rushing in and be like, "Why'd you charge this on my credit card?"
I mean, they won't even notice because the hair's bill is like octuple what yours is.
That's true. That's true.
All right, which one of you ordered the great special from Redwall? You'll have to be more specific, sir.
That being said, so our abbot goes down after breakfast and yeah, he's got to do the whole punishment. But we also meet kind of an awesome character, Samuelus Fixa.
Yes, I like him.
I do like him, and I do like the nickname Fixa because he fixes things.
He's a mouse of an indeterminate age, and he's basically works on furniture or other odd things that works. He's like, oh, so cool. And then because Samuelus is apparently, if not directly the grandparent, certainly related to our naughty Dibbin, he's there. He's there. It's not kind of clear. It's like it's implied, yeah, grandparent, but not.
He's the closest thing to a parent any of these guys has so far.
Yep.
Orphans.
Yep.
So, and because Torlus is being a weenie when he's there,
he's rude to Samuelus for no reason.
Yeah, and Samuelus is like, dude, bugger off.
It's like, it kind of annoys me because it just reminds me of how some people in the service industry are treated, and I'm like, dude, stop it. Stop treating them like that.
This was the point where in my notes I just straight up wrote, I really hope Torlus dies.
Wow. Okay.
I want him gone. Leave my book now.
Don't mince words. What do you really mean?
I like to mince him up.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Anyway, so Torlus at one point's like, we're here of a matter of an Abbott's report. I want to see what to do with you. Kind of what Katie was referring to. And Abbott's just like, no, we're not doing that. You're not speaking to another adult in this manner. Okay?
Nope.
Yep, he has some authority. He's not a complete pushover, this Abbott. He has authority. He's like, hey, you don't talk to him like that.
Hey, cut it out.
Yeah.
And we find out that Terillis has given Dwink Abbott's report due to some, backtalkery earlier that morning. And it's like, what's next? Abbott's report to a Dibbin for not washing up before supper?
Yeah, probably.
That Dibbin got food on his face. Abbott's report. That Dibbin tripped because he hasn't fully learned how to do coordination yet. Abbott's report.
Such a weenie.
That Dibbin is too cute. Abbott's report.
So we have apparently Samuelus can trace his line all the way back to Goth. And they have a record of it in the gatehouse.
Yep.
Oh, they're never gonna find
where's
it.
The library?
That's gone.
Yeah.
Matthias, you okay?
He forgot where it is. I'm gonna go with it. The door broke again, and they haven't fixed it. And they're like, well, I'm sure nothing of importance is up there. Now, where are all our records gone?
So it's like, so this is descended from a distant branch of Gonf. So like, Gonf and Columbine had to have more kids than just one, right? Because
I would presume so.
I would hope so. Because like, uh, anyway, it makes no sense. Time makes no sense. No one's heard of the Doomwytes before this book, and that makes complete sense. Anyway.
Nobody
Yeah.
had heard of what the heck was the badger called in the last one again?
The Tabura.
Tabora,
Yeah,
yep.
nobody had heard of Deburro until, or all of a sudden everybody had heard of one. It's like, wait, the readers haven't.
So yes, so Sam was going to explain this story passed down through the Gonf line about, well, Doomwites. I'm sure it's not important. So
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
okay, yeah, let's also talk about I don't know what it looks like in hardback or paperback, but the Kindle's version of the map that starts the book is terrible. It is like the worst possible resolution I could have. I couldn't even read it.
Oh, it's clear. It's not as in depth as some of the. Well, actually, I think about it, this one's just Mossflower. Like it doesn't cover anything
Yeah.
else. But it is pretty clear where some stuff is.
So
It looks really good in the hardcover. I'll say that.
the reason I bring it up is because our bad guy HQ, the Legion of Doom headquarters, is on a section of Mossfire we have yet to see before. It's basically a small plateau. So it's a raised section of the forest with its own trees and whatnot.
Yep.
It's distinctly different from Mossflower itself. We also see the mysterious quarry, which I'm sure will not come up in this book.
Oh, of course not.
But luckily, that quarry has at least popped up every now and then.
Yeah,
So
we
that
both
has
agree.
been. I'm happy that quarry has returned, and it's actually what's in that quarry is connected to the previous books.
Continuity.
Indeed.
Yep.
So Griv arrives back at Bad Guy Central, and it's like, I've got news with the Doomwyte, Corvus Skur. So not only is Doomwyte a collective term for all the vermin, it's a title for their leader.
Yep.
Okay.
We are definitely in Goofy Name Land proper. Corvus Skur.
Isn't
I
that
mean-
actually Latin for raven or crow or something?
It's pretty close, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, the family name for like crows and magpies and stuff is Corvid, Corvid.
So there you go.
All right. I do like that the crows do that honk. Like
Yep.
they do their little screech and stuff because let's face it, crows do that and they're annoying. Real ones at least. In the
Well,
book
these
it's
are-
charming.
Is it?
I don't know. This place does sound like something out of everyone's nightmares though.
So
I thought
yes.
that was lovely. Great
I mean,
vacation destination.
They used the same interior decorator that the Razan did.
Okay, and that's actually what I want to bring up. We'll describe the interior of this place in just a moment, but for clarity's sake, this book came out in 2008, and because I went and looked it up, because I was curious, and for the record, before anyone tweets at me about what's your opinion on the writer, and because we've and blah 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 blah, I don't. That's not our job to talk about J.K. Rowling or the Potter series at length. But yes, I am referencing Potter. Okay.
Who
I like Harry
cares?
Potter.
Just
I
do
don't
it.
like J.K.
Yeah.
Rowling. It's
I don't know
fine.
what you're talking
What
about yet.
what
Just
can
get
you
to it.
say? I love Harry Potter. I'm not less a fan of J.K. Rowling after her political opinions of the last several years.
Get to the point.
Getting to the point. Point is, in book 6 of Harry Potter, Harry and Dumbledore, because Harry has to be involved in everything, get to this nice underground cove with a lake that is it's depicted in green light. This came out in 2005. This
Yep.
book in 2008, we have a large cavern dominated by a large lake with cast in a green light, presumably from either bioluminescence or chemical luminescence, like Matthias indicated earlier. It's also basically a giant hot spring that basically heats the water of the lake.
So I think Jakes has said in interviews before that he deliberately doesn't or didn't read other children's fantasy just because he didn't want to subconsciously get those ideas.
Okay.
So I think this is just a coincidence.
It's a nice coincidence, but it's a coincidence nonetheless. So
Yeah.
noted. And parents, yeah, this is where it's going to get very dark very quick. So, remember our rat from earlier who had been given the Martin special? Yeah, I'll save you the point. Is that they push their food, aka other creatures, into the boiling lake and cook them alive.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
You know, for kids.
Yeah.
definitely for kids.
We get to also meet his the Raven General Viku. He is Viku! You are like the calling of magpies to him! I'm going to do everything in my power to suck all the horror out of this section because
Please
I have
do.
so many jokes.
No,
Well,
please.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Skur and Viku tried to board an airplane. They had a animal carcass under each wing. The flight attendant says, "I'm sorry, only one carry-on per passenger."
Dun, 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 dun.
So yes,
So yeah, we've got Corvus Skur, who is our big bad, but Corvus also has a partner, which is a snake that sits on his head like a crown. Like even Ublaz is looking at this guy going, "Dude, tone it down."
yeah, and basically Sikaris, it's a female smooth snake that sits on top of Corvus's head, and
She's evil.
she's a Grandma Wormtongue, in effect. She basically whispers plans and plots into Corvus's ear. So,
Yep.
Although-
I do think Sikaris is a good snake name.
agreed.
Yeah.
And I like how Sikaris takes all this time to look at the rat and ascertain everything about him and then just goes, he is brainless.
Yeah.
Literally anyone could have told you this.
And he does it, and what they question are Grinch, who's right before he dies, is like, "Hey, where are the eyes of the Doomwyte?" Huh?
Oh.
I was just trying to get to my ocean vacation, man.
I gotta get there before my timeshare expires.
So Corvus then presses a button on his chair that sends Gridge into the fire. I mean, Boiling Lake. Yeah, it was at this point I've decided it's Corvus Skur is Dr. Evil.
So noted.
And as he's brought in, he goes, "Ravens and magpies, welcome to my underground lair. Time and again you have failed to capture the eyes of Doomwyte. That makes me angry. And when Corvus Skur gets angry, Miss Sikaris gets upset. And when Miss Sikaris gets upset, creatures boil."
On second thought, dinner's going to be ready in about 30 minutes.
And what do I have to do? Get some pikes with freaking laser beams on their heads.
Yes. So, chapter 3. Chapter 3.
Oh, sorry. One last little bit at the end. There is a mysterious dark monster outside of the cave that's digging.
A dark creature. Yes.
That seeks vengeance.
Oh, Tom! Why are you still alive?
You know what? Because it's a creature that we only get described at night and it's giant and focused on vengeance. Goliath, where did you get lost?
But that works for me. So our chapter 3 begins back at the Abbey in Cavern Hole as Samus keeps doing this story. He talks about Martin. Hey, hi Martin. Gomph and
Diddy.
animal named Diddy. And you could say there was foursome because Golf's lovely wife, Lady Columbine. So this is how I know the quote whites. Oh, this fell past in line. I also heard it from an owl. No one knows what a white is particularly, but they mentioned it's sort of a flickering light lives in the woodlands, aka what Matthias said with Will of the Wisp. And Abbott Gilsum's like, "Oh yeah, I've heard this legend." We already know it's not a legend; it's a thing.
The Legend of Gonf.
Yep.
And
So
can I point out,
Go
Bisky seems to think that Gomph is the true hero from the story of Mossflower, and I don't think there's a pedestal big enough to hold his conception of Gomph.
Yes.
Yep.
That being said,
will-
they're like, "Well, we're gonna have to verify your story against our records in the gatehouse, not the library." And But it's storily raining outside, so we should do the sensible thing and wait for the rain to pass before we run there, because no one in this series seems to have an umbrella.
Yep. And apparently Samuelus has perfect recall, but not total recall. Otherwise you'd hear, get your bottom to Mossflower.
Yes, but no, of course they do. They run through the rain, and even the abbot's just like, it's fun. They even do a singing story about Dibbins playing in the rain.
Yes, it was
I did
kind of
like that.
adorable.
Splish diddly splash splash splosh splosh. I
So
like it.
we get introduced to who lives in the gatehouse now. There's actually a reason given later, and I want to talk about it when it comes up. Humphrey Spickle, who is a big hedgehog gatekeeper and come bell ringer. And Brian does that very polite British way of calling him dumb.
Yes.
He's a simple man.
Yeah.
I like Humphrey.
Me too. And it's funny
he-
because
you know-
Humphrey was a youngish hog, a simple type who was not overburdened with learning.
Yes.
Hey.
In other words, they didn't teach him very well. That's what it sounds like to me. Is they did a bad. Because I think later on, one of the his uncle or whatever Corksnow is related to him is like, we need to do a better job of teaching you how to read.
Yeah,
he did
and
a
it's
bad job with that.
It's so funny though, because Jake's narration, when he's like, he wasn't overburdened with learning, and the next sentence he's like, but no one commented on this because he was a big hedgehog. Wow, Jake gets way into it.
Yeah. What is it with British people being able to insult you in the most polite manner possible?
I love it.
It's like they could say something like very, very unpleasant about your appearance, and then just by the way that they deliver it, you're like, thank you, that was such a wonderful compliment.
Even in the same chapter, the abbot's like, yeah, we're gonna need to get you some reading lessons. Yeah. So, but not only do we have an official written record of Gomp's misadventures, we have Columbine's diary.
Yep.
Where was this?
Dear Diary. And I love how it just starts. I'm assuming most of her entries start with this. I could tell that Gonfin had been stealing again.
Clearly,
Yes.
this is after Redwall is, if not near completion, pretty close, if pretty completed. And yeah, I've mentioned Kindle highlighters in the past. The "My Golf is no ordinary thief" sentence is highlighted by 43 people. So, so yes, apparently
He's
Martin,
Robin Hood.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, but he's the Carrie Elway's Robin Hood. He's not.
He speaks with an authentic British accent.
Apparently Martin's off on a quest. Is this pre or post Legend of Luke? I'm kind of curious of that.
I
Yes.
don't know. They just wanted to get him out of the way. He's not important to this story. Go away, Martin. Go on a
I
quest.
feel he should have been. I love how this diary entry starts off with like, oh, we have a nice cheery lunch with Dinny, which, by the way, awesome to hear about Dinny again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, they're having a nice lunch, and like, Gonf, you look a little upset, and he's like, I saw murder.
Yes.
Like,
Well, that brought down the mood.
yeah, that is. It's like, oh, I was following these lights and these vermin, and oh my god, they got murdered. And Dinny's like, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
So Gonf, we find out, followed the Doomwytes off to their underground lair and witnessed horrors beyond belief and saw this infestation of psycho murder birds and creatures and decided, I could let Martin know and we get the band back together and kick some crazy bird, but better idea, I steal their treasure and piss them off.
Is that really the smartest idea? Yes. Yes, it is. So, yeah, we're also told that he not only does he watch these birds, cook more prey, it's ghosts and shrews, and he can't even help them. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and yet, he's the statue of the Doomwyte back at Evil God Lair. Yeah, he took the emeralds and two rubies the size of dove eggs. Okay.
Seems like a good idea. Sure.
Yep.
I mean, when in this series has anyone ever had a precious stone of some kind that some vermin would kill anyone in their way just to get their hands on. Oh wait, Pearls of Ledra.
It's like literally one of the. It's literally the crux of one of the books.
But man, this took forever though, because like with Pearls of Lucha, like the pearls were like part of the story. They got stolen shortly before the events of the story. This was like in the Mossflower / Legend of Luke timeline. It has been decades and centuries.
I was going to wait for a week. The book cover covers this, but we're actually told this is thousands of seasons ago.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, assuming the very minimum for thousands of seasons to qualify, aka just over 1,000, that means it's been 250 years since founding of Redwall. Wow. Man, there's a lot of this timeline we do not see.
Also, it means these birds are really, really dumb because they could not figure out to check the giant building in the center of Mossflower for over 250 years.
Assuming their time scale is right, and it very way will not be. Yeah, no one ever bothered to, ask, hey, Redwallers, have you seen some gemstones we're missing?
That maybe they saw like the carcass of Ironbeak staked out front after Red Kite was done. We're like, let's not go there.
I'm sorry. Now you've just given me this image of Constance and Orlando playing with them like puppets.
They saw the magpies flying away with weights attached to their necks. And we're like, let's not do that.
Oh, and let's not forget the Wild King McPherson.
Oh god, yeah. Maybe we should check out that big. Oh my god, that's a big eagle. Let's not go there.
You can eat me in 3 bites. I'm scared.
Not even 3. He barely would have to open it. He'd just fly over them and they'd be gone.
Much less the nut siblings at some point, or the other owls who have been involved.
Oh yeah, like the one from Pearls of Lutra, actually.
Yep.
They were like, well, that's when they check and they see him murder one of the seagulls. Just be like, nope.
So what I'm hearing is every time they get the idea, maybe go check out the Redstone House. Redstone House be scary. No way, dog. Not me. I'm out.
Yeah. Just like thinking of all the different creatures at Redwall that would have scared them to death. Like they see Krega like just murder a Marl Fox by grabbing one by the neck. And they're like, nope, we're good.
Now I picture like, today's the day we're gonna go check out the Redstone House, and then that's the day that Craig decides to have people help her aim an arrow and shoot someone from like. So they're walking up, and all of a sudden this arrow comes out of nowhere.
And not even shoot it at them, through them. I'm pretty sure it hit the person behind them too.
Yeah, just.
Or in the time of Hyrule Lane, giant, angry seagull getting speared by an enormous spear.
Yes. This is a fanfic waiting to happen. Somebody write this fanfic.
Yes.
One of them flies up to the window, like, today's the day. They see Constance holding up the giant table ready to kill Clooney with it. I'm good.
Nope.
Never mind.
So, yeah, all that being said, the continued story where, Columbine's like, hey, honey, you want some jewelry? Where'd you get this? Oh, I stole it from those angry birds I mentioned who took Shrews alive, and
I went to the eShop and saw these angry birds.
Oh. So he's like, she's really like, Columbine to her credit's like, hon, I love jewelry, but you need to return that or hide it.
Do you have the gift receipt?
These are literal murder jewels. I do not want these.
Literal blood diamonds.
Yeah.
This better not bring danger to Redwall. Oh, what's the odds of that happening?
I'm gonna see Columbine taking one of the rubies and rubbing it, and it's actually like a different color, and she goes, "This isn't a ruby, that's blood. Get this away from me now."
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? 250 years later.
Maybe it's just me, but it seems like Brian slightly overused the trope of good creature not accepting a gift of shiny things because those things happen to be evil. See
Yes.
also Tagarung.
And
Yeah.
Pearls of
Also
Lutra.
Pearls of Lutra when Tansy throws them into the ocean.
Yes.
Yes.
You see, he like cuts up like Martin gave us this message, and it's like, no, Columbine gave them that message.
So, Columbine's story ends where she doesn't disclose what Gaunt did with them, other than, hey, get rid of them. And we do have Gaunt's own journal, and apparently he was a lot more crazy than we thought. Because he didn't write a sensible journal of like his personal history. Oh no, this was his riddle practice.
Yes.
I say this lends way more credence to our fan theory that Gomph is the one coming up with all the riddles instead of Martin.
That is my canon.
Mm-hmm.
So be it. So it shall be. But yeah, they also, hey, we found Gomph's book in the rafters. Is the rafters closer to where the rain can leak in? Yeah, what's the problem? Oh, no reason.
And here, I have to say this. The fact that Sebelis hid all of this stuff like away from everybody else so he could do his personal research. As somebody who currently works in a library and previously worked at his college library, finding materials in the wrong section or missing entirely is one of the most frustrating things about doing that kind of work. And the past year or so, my coworkers and I have been slowly but surely doing an inventory of our entire collection, which is, just over 50,000 items. There's a lot to go through, and we're only about halfway done. And we have had some items listed as being on the shelf that are very clearly not there. And when you look at the last date that they had any kind of activity related to them, it's like 8+ years ago.
Oh, man.
These are clearly missing. Stealing from a library is stealing from your entire village, town, city, whatever. Not a good move. Please don't do it. Use your library responsibly. Hashtag the more you know.
I'd say that also says a lot about what Samuelus thinks about literally the rest of the Abbey of, I need these for research. I'm going to hide them so no one else finds them and ruins them.
Or ruining
Loses
them. Speaking of ruining them, it is still downpouring outside, and rather just leave them in the gatehouse for perusal later. Hey guys, we're just going to walk these back to the main great hall in the rain with no umbrella. Yeah, there's Matthias.
It's special rain-proof parchment.
I think they did say that they kind of huddled over them to protect them. I'm not sure how well that works.
I'm going to say, you know what? If this stuff could not disintegrate after 250 years, I think it's going to be okay if they go out in the rain for 2 minutes.
Matthias, are you okay over there?
I'm going to tell you right now, as somebody who has handled water-damaged books, I don't care if your book is brand spanking new. You spill water on it, those pages are warping. You do not want to see some of the books that we've had returned because small children or dogs have gotten to them.
That, you know what, that might explain why Gomph's poems and riddles are way more incomprehensible, because they got a little wet and the words got all warped.
Yeah, these were just very weird riddles.
So, back in the main.
Meanwhile, back at the Great Hall.
Yep, we get another cook. We get another cooking song.
Yay!
It's a cooking sea shanty.
It is.
Only in a Redwall book.
Yep. Didn't earlier this year the internet decide that this was the year that she someone else say it.
Does she sell seashells by the seashore?
Ha! I beat you. Haha.
So, yeah, but yeah, and Frintel and Bisky are pals again as well, and Frintel's like, I'm sorry, Sister Brother Torless, but he's a horrible monster, and I was terrified of him.
Yeah, Bisky's like, yeah, pretty much, it's fine.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it all worked out because now we're working on important things, and hopefully he'll just stand out in the rain, catch pneumonia, and die.
Huge. Okay, well, apparently I need to talk Jeremy down from some bloodlust later, but...
I actually did write in my notes after they boiled Gridge alive, I said, wonderful, why couldn't that have been Torless?
Okay, thank you! Moving on.
Okay, fine, back to my normal complaining. Dugry and Furf. are our next names.
Yes.
Yes. After lunch, the kids are like, we want to play outside in the completely pouring down monsoon levels of rain. And Skipper's just like, nah. But there's a cool. I upturned a table up in the infirmary if you want to make a fake boat out of it. Do we?
Yeah.
Skipper Rorgus is awesome.
He's fantastic.
And
This is
he's
adorable.
adorable with the kids. I love him. He is great. And I do like Violet the Hedgehog. She's cool too.
Mr.
Sister.
Violet.
Yep.
Violet
Wait,
the Hedgehog
is
sounds
she-
like a rejected Sonic character.
Oh, actually, I was thinking Violet.
OC,
is the
don't
name
steal.
Violet's the name of a character from Peanuts, so it's like, you got Sister Violet, Sister Lucy, sister or brother Charlie Brown. Just I don't know. I
Good
went to a weird
grief.
space.
I think those names just sound too normal. Sorry.
Brother Snoopy.
Brother Woodstock. That's right. Whenever Torless talks, it just interpreted as wah 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 wah.
There you go.
But anyway, they open Gomp's book and fortunately to the right riddle that they need.
How convenient.
Yeah,
Hmm.
why is it that Redwallers all stumble on the exact riddle they need to find to locate the thing they're looking for? It's way too convenient.
That's the power of Martin.
No, power of Gomp here because
All
Martin.
right.
Martin is
Martin
almost...
just takes credit.
No. I don't think Martin was involved. Did he have his presence known at any point in this book except maybe the watching from the tapestry later? Well, I'll cover that when we get
I'm watching you.
Not in this particular section, I don't think.
I meant like in general in the books, like Martin gets all the credit. It's like Martin is the Gomp is the ghostwriter, and Martin's name is on the top of the book.
Oh, so Martin's James Patterson. Okay, got it.
Hello.
Have
That
you read the
being
latest
said-
James Patterson book? No, neither
Martin
is he.
is the Milli Vanilli of ghosts.
Anyway, so we have Gomp's first riddle, and yeah, you could just hear him cackling as he figured this out. So, red and green, green and red, gouged of an idol's head, spurned by a flower red and green, for the evil ye have seen. Where are they for magic lights? Seek them in vain, ye whites. So he's basically telling the people he's stolen from, ha ha!
Yeah.
And a boo boo, you can't get them.
Yeah, I can't do that as well as you can. So
And I think somebody describes it as oh god, where I can't remember what this was described as. I need to start putting page numbers down in my notes. But somebody described something as a frog's dinner. Does that mean a mess?
no, it just means some flies, some bugs.
Come fly with me.
Anyway,
Dear.
so they start figuring it out naturally.
Yep. And they
And I even have at one point Humphrey, the adults and few kids involved in this figuring out this riddle. The adults are like, "Hey, you want some October ale, kids?" And the kids are like, "No, what is wrong with you? You're giving alcohol to a minor?"
I did write. Gullub sounds like the noise you make when you drink too much October ale.
I like how there's kind of a new strategy though for like the riddles, because I know sometimes like everybody is flummoxed by the riddle, but in this one it seems like the adults get it a little bit before the kids, but they let the kids figure it out. It's like that's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whereas
Because
in
at this point, it's not like, in Pearls of Lucha where it's a race to save their abbot's life. At this
Right.
point, it's just a fun treasure hunt.
this is true. And yeah, I was like, Gomph definitely went crazy with his riddles, but would we expect anything less from him?
Nah.
Yeah. And they eventually find out that because they find another bit of it, which is the bird has no burries, the snake no red meals, 2 brews and 2 mere lads. Where are the nests? Oh, a fencer. Those 5 hid them well. First of all, Gonf is channeling Yoda with this one.
It sounds like have you guys ever seen those sort of those AI programs that people build and they feed in a bunch of different texts and have it spit out something that they're trying to make it sound like actual humans wrote it and it just sounds like gibberish.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say this is more like when I pop in a different language into Google Translate and it tries to turn it into English and fails miserably.
In reality, though, anagrams everywhere.
Nannygrammars.
Everybody.
Yep, I will say nanny grammar is my new favorite term for anagram.
I love it.
Yeah.
If
He
I
might
had a
have been the-
grandma, if I had a grandma, I would start calling her nanny grammar.
No, that's how she talks. She uses nanny grammar. And, Gomph might have been the prince of mouse thieves, but I think in this case, prince of aggravating riddles is more like it.
Yes.
You may be the prince of mouse thieves, but you're the king of riddles. Dead silence.
Cricket.
All right, moving
Cricket.
on. Now that my joke and died and is lying on the ground, stop kicking it. So they find out that this is an anagram for rubies and emeralds, which essentially this tells them literally what they already knew, which is, oh, Gomph hid the rubies and emeralds. Now we
Yes.
know, even though we already knew.
And Pincer those 5 is Prince of Thieves.
Yep. Also,
Continue.
this is. Oh, sorry. I was going to say that we're also introduced to Cork Snout.
Yes. And he has a cork snout, literally.
Yeah, I missed this on my first go through, so yeah. So is this like a false nose, or is this something just a fashion statement, or
Believe it's a
nose.
false nose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like a more lovable version of Captain Chopsnout from Legend of Luke.
More respected too.
Yes.
Nobody likes Chop Snout. Not even Chop Snout really likes Chop Snout.
Nobody likes Chop Snout. But their search is interfered because in chapter 5 immediately starts with a squeak, and they say, "Help! Auntie M! It's a tornado, Auntie M!" I mean, sorry, it's an evil bird, and it's trying to kidnap a Dibbin.
Yep.
And I just immediately was like, "Bad birds, bad birds. What you gonna do when they come for Dibbins?"
A hair shoots you with a metal arrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Ouch.
what? So all of a sudden, this metal spike flies in out of nowhere and murders the bird, and that's the end of that.
Yep. And say hello to Rackety Tam McHare. No, seriously. It's just a same voice actor, Paul Braithwaite, doing his Rackety Tam voice, but with a slightly thicker brogue.
Just very much.
The Laird Bosie McScutta O'Bowlaney. He's a hare. He gets a pass for his goofy name.
Yeah, I mean, if we can be okay with Beauclair feathering Salcott sporting him, we can be okay with this.
I feel like all the hares get a pass with their names because many, 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 many hares throughout the years have had wacky names. So you know what? I'm fine with that. I mean, at the craziest, we had Jod back in Outcast with his supercalifragilistic expialidocious. I can't pronounce.
Well,
Page long.
and you know the Red Wars are like, oh, a hair. We have a hair in residence. Hit the alarm. Red alert. And there's an alarm that goes off in the kitchen.
Oh, I'm sure he won't be that much of a glutton. Oh, he's immediately heading to the kitchens. Never mind.
Yep.
Yes.
He immediately is like, "Where are your kitchens? Where are your kitchens?" They're like, "Well, we can show you the dormitories. Are those near the kitchens?"
And even the Abbott itself is like, no, I will give you a personal tour. Since
To the
you're gonna
kitchens?
to the kitchens. We'll do the kitchens last.
Prepare. We must have time to prepare. We find out he's a warrior minstrel because not only does he his bow doubles as a musical instrument. And I would love it if it was confirmed that he was a descendant of Tarquin from Mariel of Redwall and Bellmaker. Because remember, he had the musical instrument he would use to bash people over the head with.
Yes, or
Well,
Borab.
good.
He had his
Oh,
hurdy-gurdy. There we go.
oh yeah.
So, yeah. And this is the first time I've ever seen anyone in the series use metal arrows. My first read through, I thought he had like one arrow, and it's like, what is this, Galaxian? Where you have one shot? No, he has more. But he asked the Red Wars to, oh, can you clean the Gorn Viscera off his? Thanks.
His exact words, if I may quote,
By all
I
means.
cannot abide dirty shafts.
Yes, and he gives it to the kid. He's like, "Here, kid, have a horrifying thing to clean off."
Can you clean the blood and gore off of this for me? I do love what they do with the dead crow, though. So, I think it was Skipper's like, hang on a second, I know how to deal with this. He picks up the dead crow, throws it into a ditch onto two of his buddies.
Yeah, everybody hides in the ditch now. Even birds. Like, what? Does this ditch have like a no one looks in here sign and flashing neon lights?
The ditch grants +5 to hiding.
Oh, okay, that's how that works.
Also disturbing because Red Wars have buried even the bad guys before, but this bird, boot right out the front door. The insects will take care of it. It's gonna take a while, and the rain. And okay, but
All right.
You're still going to have a festering corpse somewhere in that ditch along the length. Even if it washes it down path, whoever's coming up the path to go visit Redwall is going to have to walk past the dead corpse of this bird.
Well, at least it's better than what happens to a bird in a little while.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. So yes, we now have a hair in residence at Redwall. Yay!
Yep.
Oh.
And the villains overheard the heroes talking, and they're like, "Oh, we can bring back good news to Dr. Evil. I mean, Corvus."
Yes, they know where the gems are.
Yay!
Sort of.
And then we find out, oh look, the villains have a giant monster fish. Because, boiling people alive is bad enough. Now we have a giant monster fish that will chomp them down. Fantastic.
I mean, this is Jabu Jabu from friggin' Zelda, as far as my mind went. But it's a catfish that they just keep in this smaller pool of water that they just feed for funsies.
I was thinking of more of a Big Bertha from Mario 3, where it just like gobbles you up in one shot. Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so he doesn't have sharks with laser beams, but he has this will get rid of his enemies at will.
And the fish speaketh, but the snake is the only one that can understand him.
Convenient.
Yes.
We then find out in like 2 chapters the fish is actually not saying anything, and the snake's just making literally everything up.
No, it totally talks. It totally talks. What are you talking about?
I speak fish.
Wow, I wish I could speak fish.
That's what I was thinking of too.
So yes, our bad guys even know the name of the thief who took the stones, and Red Wallers are mentioning him. And this was thousands of seasons ago. This is where I was mentioning earlier. Hey, why haven't we made any effort to get him back before this?
We tried. Every time it was just a bunch of terrifying things.
They're monsters, I tell you, monsters.
Why are we trying now? Why do we care?
Yeah. We tried going there once, and this hare was laughing so loud it made one of our buddies' heads pop.
Oh, no.
That's how Rosie defended the Abbey.
But here we have what basically boils down to, hey, Chief, here's this riddle that talks about those things that you want. Did you bring me the actual things I want? No. You're all idiots.
Why must I be surrounded by freaking idiots?
No, I will send my whites to the Redstone House, and they will bring me what I want. This won't go terribly awesome, and I won't enrage the people known for vengeance. Although there was that Slackar guy.
Yeah. I'm going to use what's called phosphorus, and we're going to use this phosphorus to make ourselves glow.
Oh, and we still have our mysterious beast of mystery. And yes, I'm aware that's redundant. So it's like, I want my vengeance. Oh, hi, yeah. Okay, you're Batman. Got it.
But what I find interesting is that when Corvus's underlings bring back what they overheard, the riddle, and it's just like, well, what does that mean? And they're like, we have no idea. We're only telling you what we heard. And it's like, get back there and get more information. So to put that in a slightly different context, creative clues confound confused corvids, creating chaotic consternation. Classic.
Wow.
And so in chapter 6, Bosie just says like, "Oh, I don't need much, just 6 meals plus snacks and supper."
Can we survive the winter?
And I will say, this is the first book where I'm legitimately having a difficult time understanding what the quote unquote northern accent dialogue is. I tried reading Bosie's song in chapter 6, and I just kind of gave up after the first verse.
Yeah, it's even difficult in the audiobook.
It definitely is.
Okay, so it is definitely thicker than previous characters, because like in previous books, I never had like a problem understanding like Dookie Plum or Rakangus in Salamandastron, but I am legitimately having a difficult time understanding what Bosie is saying sometimes.
He's having a great time.
Oh, and I got to point out the chapter art shows him playing his instrument with his literal bow as a bow for his instrument, which looks like a cross between like a violin and a mandolin. Would that be a Vitolin? Sounds like a medication. Ask your doctor if Vitolin is right for you. Side effects include increased appetite, restless leg syndrome, irrepressible cheekiness, and speaking in a Highland brogue.
So, yeah. So we also get it's like, oh, you need a warrior, so I'm here to help, and this is a bargain for you guys. A place to rest my head, 6 square meals a day, not counting snacks and supper. We're noticed as frugal creatures. Guys, the app is choking on his tea. He's laughing too hard.
Literally is.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And he's so yeah. Then we get a longer song from Boise and Boise.
Boise,
Yes.
Idaho.
The entire town of Boise, Idaho is singing a song in a Redwall novel.
Yes,
Wonderful.
yes, they
In a
are.
Highland brogue.
So yes, I'm sure.
That's why he eats so much. He's an entire city.
Oh.
So I'm sure since you'll be on guard and being a warrior for us, that won't see you get anointed with by our Jesus figure and wield a certain blade, right?
Nah. Of course not.
So
I'll get to that when we get there, but I remember, I will state now when we get there, but people might have remembered in previous episodes where I was commenting on Bosie, I remembered something in this book entirely wrong, so we'll get there.
So yes, they basically agree, and we're back to more riddle solving.
Yep. I do like the bit, may my spikes fall out if I did. What's that rattling noise? What?
What?
That was awesome.
And there always spikes fall out. Sir, make yourself decent.
So they also decide to go to the infirmary to learn a little bit more, where they run into Brother Torless again. And look, I'm sure Torless means well, and I'd mean well to kick him out a window. Not an open one. I want him to go through the glass.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they want to speak to Sister Ficaria, who's this delightful, like, super, super old, like, Krega age mouse.
And she's
not
tiny,
long for
too.
this world. And they're like, we have a couple of questions that only she can answer. And he's like, no, she's busy and has work to do. And it's like, you're going to work a poor elderly creature to the bone just because?
And she's like, wait, I'm coming. And she just runs off. She's like, you'll be fine without me. Bye. He's
Yeah,
like, well,
and
you're too old for me to boss around. So
yeah. I
I
love
her.
how it described her. A moment later, a tiny mouse scooted out, carrying a
yeah.
walking stick.
And in the audiobook, she has like this super like high squeaky voice. Like she's the smallest, tiniest, most fragile mouse in the entire abbey.
Yes, that woman is very talented. She plays a whole range of people in the books that she's in, and she has this lovely, mellow, older lady voice that she can do so much with. It's great.
She's fantastic, and like she's so like cheerful, and I love when she looks at Samuels and goes, "You're quite old, aren't you?"
Yes.
And then Pat's Bisky, but you're very young and very handsome too. I saw a picture of Prince Gonf once. You look very like him. You're not Gonf, are you? It's just she's so
Yes.
charming.
I love it how like she's kind of as old as Craiga and her body seems to be in better shape, but her mind is a little less, I think, than Craiga's was. But Craiga was like more infirmed in the body. But she is just like her mind's not quite what it used to be, but she's still like very charming and nimble and just cheerful and happy.
Yeah. And I like even when after she tells them the poem when she falls asleep, I just love the way it describes it. Sister Ficaria's small crystal spectacles had slipped awry on her nose tip.
Yes.
So yeah, she gives them this riddle pom pom,
Yes.
and it's even more. And they talk about keys and locks, and as we then find out in chapter 7, this is that everyone's like, wait a minute, none of our doors have locks.
Yes, they do. There are
But
so many books where someone is either locked in a room or locked out of a room.
Standard key locks.
yeah, I
And I'm
think
gonna
they're just
say I
bolts,
am
right?
not surprised that none of the doors have locks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is
I
not
mean, let me
surprising.
go over this. There's the Vale Jail. There is the gatehouse that Constance gets locked into in Madame Mayo.
Oh
There
yeah,
are
there's a
the
key.
main gate and the side gates that are sometimes locked.
Those have bolts though, not keys.
Yeah, these
Mhm.
are key locks. And also when oh wait, did they actually use a key on the gatehouse to lock
Yeah,
Constance in there?
yep, they did. That had a key.
Wow. Wait, okay, so they
They,
they broke the lock one year and maybe after that, because after Constant broke out, they were like, maybe we shouldn't lock the gatehouse anymore.
yeah.
Yes.
I forgot about that. Also, Matthias, pomitical excellence.
Yes.
uh, so we also get, I have to say, we don't see much of the making or fixing of furniture in the Abbey, so it is really cool to see it with Samuelus.
Yes.
Hmm.
Because normally just all their stuff is in one piece, or if something breaks, it's like plot convenient.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you ripped off that tiny ant from that statue. Oh, that was supposed to come off. Or, oh, you ripped open that part of the chair. Oh, we found another riddle in it.
Yes. Oh, you've just broken the curtains. Oh, wait, that's Curly Corium's lance.
Yeah.
Or, for all that furniture that gets broken and, windows that get smashed from vermin invasions, it's like, oh, we got more of those up in the attic somewhere. It's like, uh, part of me is wondering, did Abbas Germain just like say, okay, we're going to make like 1100 of everything and store it up in all this extra space because we will never fill this whole building? There's like rooms of nothing but glass windows up there. It's like, we're going to run out of these eventually. Does anyone know how to still make this stuff? No idea.
um, also, they mentioned that Brother Torless has a face on him like a fried frog. Don't do that. It's more like flaming refuse.
It's
Don't
also
insult
frogs.
frogs that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they start trying to figure out where there could possibly be a door that uses a key in the Abbey. And Humphrey even says, I should know because I'm the gatekeeper. So that's confirmation that they definitely got rid of the lock on the gatehouse, which would explain why half their things are missing.
Yes. Which,
Also, we get Martin's one tapestry appearance where allegedly his eyes seem to follow you. Big wires watching you.
Yeah.
Why does that one look like a lens? No reason. And we get the return of the notorious crew, notorious DAB. Dibbins
Yay!
against bedtime. I
Yeah,
forgot that
Brian was dabbing before it was cool.
Wow.
I still like my notorious DAB.
Yes.
I mean, they both work.
Yeah. And
Oh yeah. We also get a mention of finally Bosie goes to bed and the abbot is basically at the limit of his temper as well as Corksnout. It's like, did you? And they basically outline all the extra food and drink he got. It's like, it's not as bad as Scarum, but yeah, dude, just because they're willing to take you in. Yeah.
Bosie at least did something good and saved a Dibbin. What did Scarum ever do for anybody?
He stole candy from Dibbins, literally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Posey would have shot Scarum.
Yep. And I also love the we get a Dibbin song about how life is so hard.
Yes.
It's a hard knock life.
I was literally gonna sing that song. Get out of my head right now, sir.
I heard it recently, so. I do really love the sequence on chapters, page 67 though, where where we have a brand new unnamed mouse babe. I wonder if he's part of the mouse babe family from Bellmaker.
Yes.
I am Mouse Babe of House Mouse Babe.
Yeah. And please, Farver Abbott, can us stay up late to look for doors and keys, please? No, afraid you can't, little one. But why, Farver?
And
Because
you're
you have
doing
to
one
go
of
to bed.
those.
But why, Farver? Because you're only a baby and you need your sleep. But why, Farver? It was so adorable.
It's that magic time when kids are usually about 4 and they have to question everything.
Yep.
But immediately Sister Violet comes to the rescue.
Yep. And she was like, no, you're going to bed.
But
Yep.
she makes it sound just so absolutely wonderful to be in bed.
Yes. I don't know about you guys, but I really like snuggling up in my bed when there's a big rainstorm outside because it's like, I'm nice and cozy.
Yep.
Yes. So the kids go to bed. And, okay, guys, you know what that means. Break out the party materials. It's adult
Break out the
stuff.
October Ale.
It's the adult time.
Bisky is like, but I'm still here. Darn it, I forgot about him.
But yes,
Tortoise, we need you in the kitchens. We're out of sour things and we need your face.
Oh,
Wow.
It's just he's already in your top 5 worst characters.
Hey, you know what? He's not as bad as Scarum because at least he hasn't stolen candy from children. But
would you be surprised if he did?
well, he did. Well, when Bosie went to grab a piece of food and he smacked Bosie's paw, I just wrote, "Someone throw Torless off the roof, please. Don't you smack Bosie. He's better than you."
Mhm.
So,
But meanwhile, outside in the dark and stormy night, literally.
Oh, did we forget that Humphrey decided to sleep in the dormitory instead of guarding the gatehouse?
Right. And he
You
says
have
the dreaded
one job.
phrase, "I'm sure nothing bad will happen."
Isn't that your one job?
You had one job, Humphrey.
Yes.
And I mean, saying the phrase, hey, nothing could possibly go wrong, is literally always invoked when something goes wrong or is about to go wrong. I have never seen it in a context where something does not go wrong.
Yes.
It goes along the lines of, hold my October ale while I try this.
At the same time, though, I think it's a very teenager or preteen thing to do. Just like not worry about the consequences. Be like, it's raining out. I don't want to go all the way back to the gatehouse. I'm just going to sleep in the dormitory. It's fine.
It'll be fine.
Yep.
It's not like a bunch of weird creatures are just going to open the door. Oh.
Yep. Well, that happened.
Yep. Phobies are invading. I hope everyone at Redwall will be all white.
Dun, 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 dun.
I had to use that one at least once.
It's all white.
Oh dear.
Nope, I'm not. No, you guys want to do this? You take point.
Also, Torless actually does something useful here, so this makes him better than Scarum as he does something useful. Apparently, Umphrey is keeping the entire planet up by snoring, and so Torless does like a quick little gentle thing and makes it so he stops snoring. So like, okay, you did something good.
Oh, and more confirmation that Redwall is has a sleep apnea problem apparently.
It's actually kind of adorable what he does. He has like this light stick and this jar of stuff that he spreads on Umphrey's paws and then prods him so that he curls up into a little hedgehog ball. It's rosehip jelly. So it gets him to just like start sucking on his foot paws and licking off all the jelly. And he can't snore if his mouth is busy.
I mean,
God, I wish we weren't a PG podcast. There's so many jokes for that. Moving on.
I was wondering if I was the only one that's thinking that. Anyway.
So then, though, the group of whites that have broken in start stalking around, and they go upstairs, and Bosie's like, "The heck was that? What? I thought I saw something floating over there. I think it headed towards the kitchens."
Oh no.
And Samuel's just like, "No, I think it might have headed toward the dormitories." Oh, so you did see it.
And then, of course, two Dibbins get it in their heads that they can do what their elders cannot, which is finding the door that takes a key.
Yep.
But then the whites try grabbing him, but luckily Bosie ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Nope, and he does a great little bit of math here. Bosie plus bolt plus minus bird equals black.
You know, it's funny. I wrote Skipper plus javelin equals dead vermin.
Yes.
We are math-minded. Yep. So yeah, Bosie is awesome. He also stomps on a either a slow worm or a bird. Either way, it's awesome.
and he claims later he's dancing a jig. So now I've got the image while Scottish music plays of him literally dancing.
He's stamping out crime and grime. And so, yep, it's pretty awesome. And yeah, Skipper helps out as well. And they check out that, like, oh, Bosie has some of the weird glowy gunk on him.
Yep, and Tyrillus is relatively kind here too. Like he explained to him what it is, and he says, "I can get it off for you."
Yep. And Bosie's like, now we're buddies. And you know what? Hopefully Bosie will help dislodge that stick from Torlus's bottom.
Hopefully.
Yep.
So,
Don't know if the bug up there is going to die yet or not, but...
No dear.
So they then decide, maybe we shouldn't leave all the Dibbins around the open windows. Party in Cavern Hole!
I literally put down in my notes, Cavern Hole Slumber Party.
I want to go to a Cavern Hole slumber party. I bet there's snacks.
That sounds really fun, actually.
No, there were snacks, and then they have a hair came in.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And though, however, there's one bird left. You know, I have a feeling this bird's going to be pretty important, and he's going to do something amazing in the next couple chapters.
I'm sure he will.
Knowing laugh.
My exact notes, not remembering what happened later, was one bird left. Pretty sure things won't end well for him.
Yes. However, did you guess?
I don't know. Just
I mean, I do want to comment on one thing earlier. They mentioned when they first start seeing the phosphorus glow. Hey, how did a Dippin get a candle? Dippins aren't allowed near stuff that. Okay, how many times has a Dippin gotten through the wall gates? Or much less get sharp knives and cut vermin ropes, or not get
Yes.
caught stranger danger and jump down to see Mr. Stickabee.
Yes.
jump off of the wall. Yeah, like Dibbins aren't supposed to is supposed to. There's our keywords right there.
Yes.
Dibbins aren't supposed to cut ropes and kill vermin.
There was that great song within the past couple of books about the Dimmons were impudently singing about why Dimmons shouldn't be up on wall tops.
Yes.
You'll fall off and die, and then you'll cry. And it's like, wow.
But we then go back to our main villain house, party at villain house, and we get another name, Frang, the eldest of the Raven brothers. Which at this point I just wrote, is that like Krang from Ninja Turtles? And I immediately started reading his voice like in a voice like Krang.
Please do not
We were
imitate.
lucky to leave the Red Stone House with our lives. Those earth crawlers are fierce fighters. They do not like their chicks being taken. See what they did to Murrig.
Wow.
And Murrig, who decided to take one of Bosie's spikes with him, trips and falls on it and impales himself and dies.
Whoops.
Oopsie. Oopsie. At this point, they're just sort of like chatting. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't have a whole lot to say with the villains at this point. Like, yes, things are creepy, but there's not a whole lot interesting because it's just Sycorax being like, we should get Ballast. Let's not get any more of our followers killed. And Corvus is like, well, I don't care how many of your snakes die, but I don't want any of my birds to die, even except for the ones that I kill myself because it's funsies.
Actually, I think it was his idea to get Ballast, and then Sycorax thought that he was talking about her, and because he's like, I just need one snake, and she's like, yeah, it's me, and he's like, nope, actually, it's not. Go away.
They definitely have a Ergen Negru Silvamord relationship.
Yes.
Yep.
Although I gotta say, like with these villains, you don't get a lot of the comedy. Like a lot of the villains have comical, dumb pirate people that are hilarious, and these are just like very serious birds and reptiles. And it's like I kind of miss the funny guys though.
This is true. We need like a cheese thief or a Regear. Oh god,
Jungo.
I wish we had a Regear. Huh?
Or a Jungo.
Yeah.
Or a Ka-chunk.
Jungo. Rest in peace, good friend. Yeah, but I will say this: at least they're not annoying and ineffectual like the villains on Hyrule Lane. But
yeah.
well, actually, they are kind of ineffectual because they literally have not accomplished anything. But
they're trying their best.
Yeah, they boiled a random rat alive, so there was that, and then they boil some worms.
And then they succeed at failing at, a Redwall invasion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, join the club on that one.
I mean, and Clooney's already president, and he's not exactly happy about that.
Yeah. But, yeah, so now we hear about Ballast the Slayer, who apparently it says, I heard that Sycorax say that the blood of the great Asmodeus runs in his veins, which
Wait, what?
Yes.
I don't want to think about Asmodeus having kids, thank you.
I mean, look, it's nothing to be ashamed about. Asmodeus went on tropical vacation. He got out a little drunk. Things happened. He ended up paying a little child support later. Okay?
What happens in Southsword stays in Southsword.
Yeah. But hey, we have another great blind role model that Jake gave us. Oh wait, no.
We have a horrifying monster blind role model.
Yes. So if it was your goal to be a horrifying blind monster, then look to this snake.
Yeah. uh, um.
Oh, and we also get to see the creation of a new white because one of uh, the whites are Corvus Skur's elite team, and there's always, what was it, 7 of them?
7, yep.
Yeah.
So one of them got
Ah.
killed, so a new one has to be brought up in his place, and Sakaris gives like this little. She gives this little poem initiation chant thing, and it gets marked with this phosphorescent ooze on its
Yeah.
forehead that simulates a flame. And so that's what these whites secretly are. They're not will-o'-the-wisps. They're crows with glowing foreheads.
Oh, they're ravens, right? Aren't the
Or-
whites aren't Corvus Skur's whites exclusively ravens? Or was I making that up?
Um.
I mean, I know there's crows, but like his 7 whites are always ravens, right?
So.
Okay.
I get most corvids mixed up, so
Yeah.
Oh, there are always 7 raven whites. Yep.
Okay.
So yes, correct. Birdie.
And there's Ungetron like lame. I
And I
already
shall
did
call
this.
him Mini White.
yeah. The newly minted white wants to personally thank the Academy and family for their support.
And he spends another 20 minutes just thanking everyone he can think of, and everyone's just waiting for him to be done. And
Yes.
And then Kanye Raven runs up and says, "Hold on, I'm gonna let you finish."
oh my god.
I forgot about that. That's
Um,
awesome.
so, oh,
Iron
and
Duke was the greatest raven of all time.
so my new white, you can prove yourself by killing one of the slow worms who didn't get me to my thing. Okay, but just kidding, we're killing all of you. Wait, what?
Now toss the rest in for funsies.
Okay. I mean, this
One
is
of the-
valuable troops.
Just imagine one of the worms like, "I'm not dead. I'm just very badly burned. Can I get like a band-aid or something?"
Maybe some liniment.
Ah.
I
Oh
kill
wait,
person.
I think. Can you help me? Oh God, you pecked me. You pecked me right in the arm. Why did you?
Yeah.
Okay then. Moving on.
So yes, go recruit Valus, for me, okay?
And take that frog with you, because that frog will be key. He's gonna be eaten.
What was that?
Oh.
Don't worry, you're not gonna croak for a long time yet.
I purposefully avoided the croak joke.
Well, I expected one of you to do it.
I mean, one of us had to, and it was totally me.
Ah.
Move on.
What are you talking about? All right, so
no.
Humphrey now gets yelled at because he left the gate unlocked, but he actually didn't.
You had one job.
Chapter
And-
art, Cork Snout looks special with that fake nose.
He's got like the little chain attached to it and everything, and
Mhm.
yeah. So Humphrey's not in a good place because they yell at him, and because to be fair, if you're the gatekeeper, even if it's raining, you probably should be out there standing guard in
Yes.
some capacity.
And I mean, Humphrey was already described as being huge, but if the chapter art is anything to go by, his uncle is like 1.5 times his size. It's like,
Yes.
Uncle descended from badgers and hedgehogs, apparently. Maybe, you know what? Maybe he's a descendant of Oh, what was the giant hedgehog in Marl Fox?
Solid
Solar
Tree?
Tree.
Solar
Yeah.
Tree. Maybe he's a descendant of Solar Tree.
Could be.
And what was his daughter's name? It wasn't Rosebud. It was something like that.
Nettlebud.
Nettlebud. Okay.
Yeah, Rosebud's the sled.
I know.
Spoilers!
Nettlebud. So yeah, also in Umphrey's defense though, anyone who was out front when they went inside probably would have caught that the front gate was open / not secured, but the ghost birds got in by unbarring it anyway, so
And here's the other thing. They're birds.
they can
They can
fly
fly.
over it. Why did they take the time to unlock the door anyway?
Didn't they want to let the reptiles in?
I think that
Oh, I
was the
thought they
idea.
were carrying the worms with them. Couldn't they have just carried the worms over the wall? Lazy
I don't know.
heathens. And so yeah, they do do a quick like what's his face? Blah, blah, blah. Corksnout does give him a dressing down and punishment. I do like though that Bisky and Dwink, even though Dwink's name is goofy, I do like how both of them stick by Umphrey and say like, no, wait, we encouraged him to come in. We want to take responsibility too. And even after Corksnout says what the punishment's going to be, they still stick by him and said, no, we're willing to help with the extra work you're giving him.
Yeah.
So,
They're
good to
good
see.
buddies.
I mean, it'll go faster, but it's still a punishment.
And also, I like how Corksnout's, unlike a certain brother who will not be named, Corksnout's being fair to them. Like, he's clearly not angry, like reprimanding them and yelling at them. He knows they're good kids. They just need to learn more about responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like this. So they start working downstairs and they whistle and sing while they work. They're moving empty barrels around, and Corksnout even kind of helps them out, say like, "Oh, do this, look for there. That's an easy spot to start," and things like that.
I will say I don't agree with him forcing them to get started before breakfast. I don't know about any of you, but I do not work harder on an empty stomach. It's
No,
I don't
quite
either.
not at all.
Nope.
I climbed a mountain on an empty stomach once. I am God. No. Well, to be fair, they do go to the Friar and get their food, get some food from there. And Friar Gullub even says, like, here's some helpful, here's some special food, food that will be good to eat while you're working or that'll help give you some energy.
I love this friar. He's just like, oh, I obviously have to feed young creatures that come into my kitchen, and like he's just so nice and
He's also
loving and
he's also a mole, which is
Yeah.
not common for if it's short of the formal, it's not common for a Redwall officer.
Yep, I like him.
Yep. And so then the kids get into a quick little fight, and after Bisky falls down a hole, Bisky found a key. He can use it to
Yes.
open a locked door, but only in this dungeon. I mean, Abby.
Cavis Ex Machina.
I also found the keyhole with the trapdoor.
Yeah.
Hey guys, did we forget to search the Abbey after the last major crisis again and forget something was down here?
Yeah, are you telling me nobody, absolutely nobody, has found the secret door after all of these seasons?
Oh no, we know what it is, guys. It's Ambrose's Spike's special stash.
I was gonna say they never found it because there was this giant barrel saying Ambrose Spikes do not touch. Yeah.
Even from beyond the grave, they still feared his wrath.
Meanwhile, in the quarry, it's Sandstone's quarry that Cotier and Redwall was dug out of. Neat.
Yep.
Hey, Mr. Toad Guy, would you mind going up to that cavern? No, don't worry. Just do me a favor. Try this nice salt and pepper body wash, and
We're going on Mr. Toad's wild ride.
yeah, look at with that.
I want to get off Mr. Toad's wild ride.
I will say the two magpies, Griv and Inchig, it sounds like skin conditions. Got a bad case of Inchig.
I
hear
like
there's
how
a cream for that.
I like how he's just really like inquisitive and like really loud and dumb, and she's just like, "Would you shut up?"
So yes, the grass snakes, and there's 2 grass snakes within there, and like they've been told, hey, make sure this toad gets close enough to, get eaten.
Yeah.
Okay. So the snakes are like, hey, toad, I'll dare you to go in there. I'm not stupid.
I heard there's some tasty flies in there. Are they?
And hey, where did that toad go? Oh,
Alice. I'm sure he's fine.
I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah.
Looking at the chapter art, we see the toad outside this giant tunnel entrance. The toad is only about a quarter of the height of this tunnel, and if past experiences are anything to go by, toads are usually about the height of your standard woodlander, so giving a little extra room for Ballast to have some like room at the top. He's probably at least 3 times the height of this toad, which means he's big enough to swallow most woodlanders in one gulp. Scary.
Yay!
Yay! Gross.
Yes, the audiobook has taken Gordon Hall's lovely, sweet old man voice and had turned it somehow through audio production into a terrifying snake voice.
And Ballast, much like Asmodeus, likes to say his own name, so I guess that
Yes.
confirms he's related to Asmodeus.
Yes.
First rule of Adder School is you learn how to say your own name repeatedly. And I have to say, I feel like at least the big giant versions like Ballast and Asmodeus, they're kind of like Adder's or Jake's answer to what's scarier than the standard villains. Is, Asmodeus, the giant nest of them in Outcast, which is a terrifying thought.
Yes.
The ones in Triss, we've seen them as like these unstoppable monsters. And I do like the fact that they don't show up too often, at least as major parts of the plot, because they don't feel too overused. Because we had the quick appearance of one in Eulalia just for a really quick spot, but we've only seen them be really huge in Redwall and Triss, and then the ones in Outcasts is kind of, this is where Asmodeus came from. Like, these were his ancestors. And we also had the couple that Sunflash defeated despite getting bit multiple times.
Yes. It involved babies. He would do anything for the babies.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, Sunflash, it helped. It was short but important for both Sunflash and Swart, because with Swart, one, it helped him get rid of some of his enemies, which definitely didn't turn out well for them. And with Sunflash, it showed, you hurt child, I kill.
Yes.
You
In
bite
Sunflash?
me, haha.
In Sunflash, smash.
Yeah. Sunflash, that's my secret. I'm always angry. So, actually, no, wait, that was Krega. Until post-battle. Yep, so they're like, so Ballast comes out, and the birds are like, why are you, and he calls for the birds, they're like, why are you calling for us? Why don't you talk to those little snakes? And he's like, oh, don't worry, I'll be taking care of them real soon.
Wait, what?
Like, you guys go on, head back to Corvus and tell them I'll meet them. Should we bring the snakes? Nah, it's all right. They're going to hang out inside me. I mean, with me for a little while.
I love how you turned Ballast into like a bro.
Yeah.
I really want you to keep using that voice every time you talk for him.
Works for me. Ballast.
No, not Ballast, Broless.
Broless. Oh, God.
Yeah, the grass snake's gonna be fine, man.
They'll be just fine. Don't worry about it. It's by the way, do you guys know how grass snakes taste? Nah, not important. I'll figure it out myself. I mean, it's all good, guys. See you later. Hey, grass snakes. Does this look like an open adder mouth to you?
This is the point where Deadpool moves the camera away so you can't see what happens.
Yes.
Oh god. He's like, how does he know that Corvus Skir sent us? What do you think?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Who comes to willingly visit me? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, let him know I'll meet him tomorrow at noon. I like to sleep in on Saturdays. Oh god. He said, do you think the snakes will get away with playing dead? Yeah, they will until Ballas shows them real death. Oh god. So yeah, Ballas has the toad for lunch and the snakes for dessert.
Yep.
It's a full course meal. And so meanwhile, back at Redwall.
You do that so well.
Thank you. They
Hey, let's open
find
this.
Yep. And I do like Abbott says not go down in Mr. Spickle's cellar because Googly Beasties gets us.
Yes.
I love it.
And
What
Sister
these
Riley's just like,
Googly
yep.
Beasters?
Well,
Yeah.
if that's what the abbot says, then it must be true.
Yep.
Also, Torless, you're a weenie. Because
Oh.
when they point out, hey, this trapdoor is pretty much has a lot of rust damage. It might not be able to be open. We'll have to figure out how to do this. You have formals. Okay? And then even Torless like, sheer foolishness, Snowbe's tails. The door's too rusty, too badly to open. And it's just like, oh, everyone's just like, will you please just be quiet?
Well, Samuelus just like lets him have it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's awesome. And he goes, as for old beast tales, where do you suppose you gain most of your knowledge of herbs and cures, huh?
Oh snap!
Good point,
He
Samuelus.
went there.
Yeah.
And so Samuelus says, like, I'll get it open by any means necessary.
Anyone got any dynamite? No.
Well, it's close. They roll a barrel at the thing. It's like something out of a video game where it's like you chop something, barrel rolls down the stairs and plows through a door.
Oh, I was thinking Donkey Kong.
Isn't it really bad for October Ale to have it like slosh around like that though?
They probably rolled an empty barrel, frankly.
Okay.
I thought,
Yeah, before they get wasted good October ale, come on.
and they found like the worst drink in there. Like nobody ever drinks this. It's terrible. Who made it? Torless. Let's use this.
I was gonna say Captain Slip. This is Captain Slip's attempt at
Private reserve.
yeah.
Slip
So-
grog.
Well, we slipped it down the stairs. So.
I was like, so whatever's down there, yeah, let's be sensible about this. We're gonna bring spare food. We're gonna bring rope. We're gonna bring lanterns and flint and steel in case the light blows out. You know, we're not gonna pull an Abbas Tansy, okay?
Yeah,
Guess what they
but they do
immediately
get an overabundance of advice, which does feel like, serious long patrol vibes.
Yep. So this is the point where Bosie is given Martin's sword, or borrows it, because everybody just borrows it now. Because let's face it, they know in the next book somebody new is going to have it.
Yes.
So I would like to apologize. I remembered this entirely wrong. If many people remember, Katie was ready to read me the riot act about this if I didn't realize my mistake.
You ruined my fun.
Yeah, I'm completely. So the way I remembered this, which was wrong, by the way, I'm admitting it, just saying, the way I had remembered it was Bosie shows up as, hey, I hear you guys need a warrior to help out. I'm a cool warrior. And then they're like, cool, here's a sword. That's literally how I remembered it happening. I don't know why I remembered it that way, because that was clearly things that happen in two separate chapters and happen in very different ways. And Bosie does prove himself to be helpful and saving multiple Dibbins in the span of a couple chapters. So, oops, I'm an idiot.
Also, he doesn't really seem to have like a fondness for swords. So the scene plays out something along the lines of, do you use swords, Bosie? No, I don't care for them. Want to try Martin's sword out? Mine.
Yeah.
You've got Martin's sword. You're now the designated Abbey warrior. Are we sure Martin gave this to you? We're not going to question this.
Bozy, why are you holding that above your head while text appears?
It's the first time where we see a hair warrior of the Abbey. So
this is true, or at least one that's wielding Martin's sword.
Yep.
Basil was kind of the hair warrior for a little bit. Well, I guess he didn't really live there. But
and Tarquin, and Burab.
Okay, I meant one wielding Martin's sword directly. You know, the warrior title.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas Tagarung was like, I need a weapon. There's one.
Yeah.
There's a sword. I'm going to borrow this for a minute. 1 minute later, he really did just borrow it for a minute. Now he's dying.
Sad.
Yeah. And so they go down into, it turns out to be a tunnel underground.
Hey, is this under Cotier? That's fine.
What's Cotier? I don't know. I've read it in one of our history books that we disappeared mysteriously because we don't know how to hang on to anything. And so so I did write because they did mention. Let's see, oh God, there was a comment about it saying like maybe some ancient stream went through here, and so I assumed maybe this tunnel was the remnants of part of one of the water redirecting ones that was used in Mossflower.
Entirely possible.
And so, yeah, they decide to Zoinks gang. We need to split up.
Never split the
I don't
party.
know about that.
Yeah.
And so, they decide to split up with Formal staying at the fork in the road. And while I think they should have gotten a couple more moles to help them out because they're underground and moles are kind of helpful with that stuff. I do like the idea. I do like how they decide to have Formal stay behind. So if something happens to one of the groups or both, he's the best equipped to help them because he can dig through that stuff.
Yes.
Formal is a guy, right? I'm getting that right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry, I would correct you if you were wrong.
Yeah. It's like, oh, don't worry. I'll correct you. In chapter 12, we get, oh God, creepy snake face.
Hi guys. I'm
Hi.
Blanc.
What's up, guys? I'm
Oh.
Ballas. I'm gonna banish your enemies.
Oh, let me guess. Because he's a snake, he can't have a tattoo of a snake on him. So it's a snake. Not a snake. It's a tattoo of a person instead.
Exactly. It's my tattoo. It's my bro. We used to go surfing together until I bit him. But I'm a snake. That's how it goes.
Kind
Get
of
near
regret
me.
that now.
Yep. I'm a snake. Get near me. Probably gonna bite you.
Oh, so it's a tattoo of Aesop, is it?
So, yep. Viku, the Carpathian, decides to meet him outside. He is Viku. And so Corvus is saying like, oh, those earth crawlers in Redwall need to fear me, so you go and scare them. And he's like, how will it make them fear you? Do it. Totally.
Tell him you're on my side. Tell him you're on my side of the playground.
What do I get out of this, man? And Corvus is like, do you like eating like random frogs, toads, lizards, worms, and grass snakes? Well, those 2 grass snakes you sent me are gone. Does that answer your question?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm up for free food here, but man, I don't want to put on the pounds too quickly.
Yeah.
So I have a
Man, I
question.
gotta keep my slim figure.
Is he including Sakaris in this? Because he said all the reptiles in the realms. Is he gonna like give his snake friend to Ballas?
Is that or one day Sakaris just be like, hey, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
There's a lot more birds than reptiles in here. What's going on? And Corvus is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Ballas might know. You want to go chat with him? No. And I do like Ballas's line, though. He goes, remember this. if you play me false, Ballast can make your death last half a season. That's a good threat. That's scary.
Just ask the chicken hound. He had like a very agonizing snake bite. He can tell you.
Yep. But he didn't die. Oh, he died eventually. But it wasn't from the snake bite. That you know. And I do really like the line about Ballast where it says, he was a creature that was totally fearless and fearsome with no natural enemies, only victims.
Yes.
Dark.
Yep. And apparently, actually, you know what? Because this is midday and this vengeance craving shadow warriors up there, it's definitely not Goliath because he'd be stoner in the day. All right, it is Batman. I am vengeance. I am midday. I am going for a nap. So, meanwhile, we go back to Tarul, the Raven White, who had stayed concealed in the bell tower. Now is his time.
What?
Now is his moment. Bong.
Big bells, bonk bird, bringing body below. Brilliant.
Ouch.
He shows up in the dark forest, and Clooney's like, bells. Oh.
Yeah, I'm guessing that there is a secret, like, I don't want to call it a club, but they commiserate over the fact that they were killed by the Abbey Bells in some way, either by, directly getting hit by bells or the tolling of the bell signaling their death or something like that.
Yeah, I do love these two Dibbins try doing the bells wouldn't ring, and so the Sister Violet helps them kill the bird in between both bells. It crashes on the floor, and Violet's like, "Oh my god!" And then the little mouse babe just goes, "Huh? No wonder the bells wouldn't ring."
Hey, Skipper, we got another body for you to toss out.
We got the body for you to desecrate. So then we go back to Bisky's group underground, and Bisky goes, "Ooh, I see a light. I'm going to run towards it. Oh, now I'm captured."
Yeah, whoops.
And that's the end of book 1.
Cliffhanger.
Yep.
Well, it's a cliffhanger, but it's in a tunnel. So would that make it a tunnel hanger?
Maybe.
Yep. And yeah. So, Pete, what do you think of this so far? Since this is your first time reading this one, let's go to you first.
Arguably, it is a darker book. I mean, there's no denying that. We literally have very family unfriendly deaths. And but at the same time, I like this one because it is building on series lore, but it's a lot harder for me as an adult, and I won't say I can't say an expert literature critic because it's a fan podcast. Come on. But it is honestly it's harder for me to take, oh, Gomph secretly did this while Martin was away on a quest and no one ever knew about it until 250 years later. Come on, guys. That's a little harder for me to believe.
Yeah.
Now, if this chronologically was taking place earlier in the series, like pre the original book, yeah, then I could arguably say it's a lot stronger. There is a big chunk of time we don't know about between Salamandastron and the original book that I think, frankly, would have been a better spot to put this. Other than that, I look forward to see how this shakes out.
Yeah, so far, I think all the stuff I remember from this book is from books 2 and 3. So, and apparently the one thing I did remember from this section I remembered horribly wrong. So, I am enjoying Brolus.
Yes.
I will say, I am deliberately making these jokes, but it's like I'm taking the scary stuff and making it less creepy and scary, and I think that will also make it more PG. Even though I'm referencing Austin Powers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like there hasn't been any real action yet. Like we've had Bozy and Skipper kill a couple birds and slow worms, but we haven't had like a battle yet. I do like Bozy, and he's much better than I remember him being. And I do like Samless, Umphrey, and Bisky. And Sister Violet's cool, and of course, oh my gosh,
Vicaria.
Vicaria. I do like her. She's awesome. But yeah, nothing. No one's really standing out like in other books. Like in, Eulalia. Oh my god, I'm having a brain fart. Hair in Eulalia.
Maudie?
Maudie. Like she really stood out as a character in that one. I really liked her. And also, of course, like some of the characters in that stood out a little bit more. Like I kind of hope we would. This one feels more ensemble than some of the previous ones, but I do like it when we have like a standout main character as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have as much to say about this part. I'm certain when we get to books 2 and 3, I will have plenty more things to say.
It's gonna get wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't feel like I can share my complete thoughts because there are a lot of dudes in this part of the book and not as many female characters. However, having read the whole book, it doesn't bother me. That's as close to a spoiler as I'm going to get with that. Um, yeah, and I don't know. I sort of like the difference. I like that there are hidden horrors in Mossflower that we had no idea about. At the same time, I don't like that there are hidden horrors in Mossflower that we had no idea about that existed pre-Redwall because that seems a little weird. So I like it and I don't like it at the same time. How's that for making sense?
And I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this book. On the one hand, I appreciate that it's something different. There are elements of some of the other books in here, but nothing that is like, yeah, this concretely feels like a companion book to one of the previous ones that we've had, where you look at like a Salamandastron and like Long Patrol, and they have a lot of elements that are the same. You don't get that here. This has a lot of unique elements to it. At the same time, though, it does have a darker tone to it, but it also kind of drags on. I know things pick up more heavily in books 2 and 3. It's been a while. I only remember bits and pieces, but this had there was enough roughness to it. I had trouble maintaining attention on okay, I need to focus on writing my notes here because I kept wanting to drift to go to do something else. So it's not that the book is bad. It's just in some ways it doesn't feel remarkable. The remarkable stuff doesn't happen in the first part of the book. It's not like Rackety Tam where by the time we're left at the end of book 1, it's like, yeah, I'm solidly invested here. There's some investment here, but it doesn't feel like there's enough that's happened that I don't feel as drawn in as I have been with other books. So,
Okay.
I know the end is good. It's just going to take time to get there.
So let me ask the group one thing, and be as funny or as serious as you want here on this. So this quest Martin was on while Goff was doing all of this, what do you think he was doing?
Looking for strawberry trees?
I'm going to say he was taking a trip to Salamandastron to have maintenance done on his sword and I don't know, have like the oil changed or something.
I'm going to build off what you said, and I said this is This is where he gets the shield.
Ah, okay.
Okay. He comes back with the shield looking like Captain America, like, check this out, guys, and throws it and bounces it off a wall and catches it.
Captain
Or-
Mossflower.
Or hits himself in his own head. Oh, come on, Martin.
I have so funny story.
Uh,
I did read a sorry. A quick story. I did read a fanfic once where Gaunt gave him the shield as a gift, and Martin's like, "But there's no wars anymore. Why do I need this shield?" And then Gaunt signals to all the Red Wallers, and they start throwing food at him.
That's cute.
Anyway,
So what do you think, Katie? Where was he?
I said the strawberry trees. I don't think Jeremy gave an answer. I waylaid his response
that's
with my fanfic story.
Sorry, I got because Jeremy's the one that always says strawberry trees. I've got a memory worse than a frowsy-headed dibbon.
You got memory worse than Martin after 15 straight blows to the head.
Wait, what?
I can't remember what was happening. Why does my head hurt? I'm gonna say he was off on vacation and he's like, all right, guys, anything comes by, you handle it. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna go get my head checked out.
I need a break from warrioring.
I'm gonna leave my sword here. Trust me, somebody will pick it up and answer the call. There's always gonna be a chosen one.
Yeah.
I've heard about this great place called Noonvale. I'm gonna go check it out. I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, if he shows his face in Newville, they'd chase him out.
Grum will be like, Martin! Do I know you? Oh, God, not this.
So, Jeremy, why don't you tell them where they can find us while I check on reviews?
Okay. You can find us online at recorderonthewall.com. We are on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever you want to call it, Google Play Podcasts. We are on Spotify. We're on basically, do a search on any major podcast gathering service thing, and you can find us. Most likely that's how you found us anyway. But share that with your friends too. And we are also featured on the official Redwall forums. We have a Twitter account at ROTWPod where you can interact with everybody but me because I don't know how to use it. And we also have an email address, rotwpod@gmail.com. Feel free to send goofy stuff to us. I don't know.
So, that being said, I did check our ratings, and we have both a new numerical rating, which is the standard 5 stars. We still have all 5 stars because we do so well. And
Nice.
we have a new text review, but it's from someone who already gave us a text review. Our very first one was by Fallen Off a Cliff. Yes, that's the name they're written. The new one is Fallen Off a New Cliff. So it came on July 30th of this year, so just a few days ago, on the time of this recording. And longtime listener, second-time reviewer in this year of our Lord 2020, asterisk, spending time in a world where fever can be cured by magical flowers has proven a necessary respite. And this podcast is a fantastic complement to this world. Each of the hosts brings witty insights, scarum rants, encyclopedic callbacks, and his sincere and unironic enthusiasm for Brian Jakes and the stories he wove. Thank you.
Aww.
That was a wonderful review. Whoever wrote that, you're fantastic. Scarum rants. And I'm glad, however, that being said, I am very glad we're able to provide you a distraction from the world and that we are a source of joy for you.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the reason I listen to podcasts, so I'm glad that we could provide that to
Yep.
someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And
And for the... Go ahead.
just it's always nice to hear that whether it's Jeremy and I cracking the stupidest puns, Katie analyzing social implications of not having enough female representation, or just random trivia being pulled up out of nowhere because hey, it somehow connects. that people like hearing what we have to say.
Yeah. And apparently, or rants on Scarum.
Yes.
That.
I admit that was one of my favorite bits in the food episode of why and who's your least favorite hair and why is it Scarum?
Yep. Oh god.
I still go back and re-listen to that just cause.
So next time, folks, we will be covering book 2 of Doomwyte, which is A Prince's Descendants. I mean, this could be about anything. It's
It's about golf.
What?
It's about golf.
No. Oh, I don't know. I think it's about Humphrey.
Noted. That being also said, just folks, for scheduling purposes, we are going to get through Doomwyte probably through August, early September. And then the plan is still that come October, we're looking at the third Castaways book. Now, our original plan had been to do Martin the Warrior cartoon after this. But given the timing, I may actually push that back after Castaways, and we'll do the Great Red Wolf Feast picture book in between the two.
We can also do trivia at the end of September if you would like.
That's actually a really good idea. We'll do trivia. We might do trivia and the picture book.
Okay.
Sounds that could work.
Mostly because I don't want to break up the Martin cartoon season, and I'd rather do Castaways a little bit more on time this year.
Yes.
So we'll go with that. This that being said, I'm Pete.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Katie. I'm not going to do the witch laugh again. It hurts.
Brains.
And I'm Broless. Have a good one, dudes.